Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So in this one here, I wanted to talk about something that Cailey Fleming actually said a couple days ago. I believe it was on Sunday, and I just never got around to talking about it. But it's actually pretty revealing, and I do think actually hints at least a time frame on when Daryl's going to find out about Rick. And that's the thing that I will say too, is like we are in the final season. And that's the thing about it, right? Like, because we only have we've just watched episode 6, so there's 18 episodes left, right? So because there's only 18 episodes left, like they got to get to the point with a lot of these different story threads, right? Like they got to wrap it up. And like, how do you do that, right? And like, that's the thing, like you got to think of like, how is Angela Kang trying to come up with the ending to The Walking Dead right now? Like, you got to remember, this is a big deal. Like, this has to be probably the biggest episode that we have ever gotten, because this is going to be how we feel about the show, right? Like, this episode is going to represent how we feel about the show and the franchise. I mean, really forever. If it's a horrible ending, if it's a bad episode, people are going to remember that. And when we look back on the show, we're always going to say, oh, you know, it was really good, but it kind of ended poorly. I hate how it ended, right? Like, the final episodes for shows, like the series finale for any show out there, is always so hard to get down. And if you actually look at the comic material, there's a lot that they can work with there. There's a lot that they can do there. I think that there should be some changes, but there is a lot that you can do. And you can also set up the Rick movie in a lot of amazing ways. And I think people would think it's an absolutely amazing ending. And I think that all they really got to do is just focus on the Commonwealth arc and make that a lot more entertaining, a lot more exciting. And I think a lot of that is, you know, CRM stuff. A lot of that is Rick stuff as well. I think you have to bring some of that stuff up. Obviously, it's not going to be the main point of it, but you have to bring Rick around at some point in this final season. You just have to. His presence needs to be felt, because it's kind of his show. I know he hasn't been on in like 2 seasons or since season 9, but I still view The Walking Dead as the Rick Grimes show. I do. And I kind of view it as like right now it's about the Grimes family. I know a lot of people like to view The Walking Dead as it's an ensemble show, right? Like you have a lot of cast members. And so it's about everyone. It's about the Walking Dead family, not so Rick. And yes, they have handled a lot of the story really well. I like all the other characters, but Rick Grimes is The Walking Dead, in my opinion. Whenever I see him, I just think that's The Walking Dead. I mean, I like, honestly, imagine if Rick could be on the show again, leading the show. He's the main character again. The excitement I feel is through the roof. That's how I know that like he is The Walking Dead, and that Rick movie is going to be explosive. It's going to be massive when that movie comes out. And so that's where I want to get into something that Cailey Fleming said here, because this is really interesting. I do believe it's related, because she said something like this before that was kind of related. You got to remember, Judith isn't in a lot of scenes, right? Judith isn't really on the show too much. At least when it comes to her story, she doesn't do a lot on the show. She stays within Alexandria, and whenever she does play a role, it's more for like the emotional part. It's more for the family part of it. It's usually like Rick related or Michonne related, but she hasn't done anything really in a while besides the whole Michonne thing, right? But this is what Cailey Fleming had to say here. She did an interview with Insider, and she talked about like her favorite scenes and whatnot, just like filming the show right now. And this is what she said. She said, but there is one, I wouldn't say one scene. There's one episode that has not aired yet, or that I absolutely love. I don't know how much I can say. We worked very, very hard on it. It was a long process, and the cast members that I worked with did an amazing job, and I'm very excited for everybody to see it. Right now, they are definitely over the halfway point. They did this interview like a week or 2 ago, so it's possible that, you know, episode 4 just aired, so maybe they were around episode 14, episode 15, because we know that, wait, what am I saying? Episode 12. Episode 12 is halfway. Many of the cast members and producers, people behind the scenes, confirmed that they were halfway. Like, I don't know when that was, early September or something like that. So they could be on episode 13, 14 or something like that right now. So, I mean, like around there, she's basically saying anywhere from where we're at right now, episode 6, up until episodes, I guess episode 12, just say. It could be episode 13, but around there. There's going to be an episode that Judith worked on that, and, you know, it was a long process to get everything done. And so they actually, I believe this interview happened after episode 5, which makes sense because obviously she's doing the interview because Judith played a role in that episode. And so what episode is she talking about here? She's not going to be in episode 7. We've already watched 6. She's not in that episode. Episode 8, she'll probably be in, and she could be talking about the Walker Horde. I just don't see it being like I don't know. Virgil has just arrived to Alexandria. Oh, I guess, I mean, technically not yet. He will be arriving to Alexandria very soon. They are on their way right now. But, you know, when you consider the fact that like they are going in that direction, like it makes sense that at some point very soon, Daryl is going to find out about Rick. And it needs to happen soon, in my opinion. It really does need to happen soon. I think that Daryl's reaction to that, him deciding to stay, it needs to play out earlier in the season. Because if Daryl finds out in the end and then he just leaves, that basically confirms Judith's fears, right? But if Judith tells him way beforehand and then Daryl makes that promise to stay, then he'll stay for a while. And then it'll just kind of be that very like typical story where like she can see that he's going to stay. And then once they get to the Commonwealth and once it's very safe to stay there, she's probably going to be like, yeah, you know what, like you can go find them. Like I want them to come to the Commonwealth. I want them to find this very safe place to live in. And so that's where Daryl will get Judith's approval and then be able to leave, right? Daryl and Carol. And then that's where the spinoff happens. But in order for that to happen, the reveal needs to happen much sooner. It really does. And I really hope that it does happen by episode 12. In my opinion, I think it's going to happen in like episodes 9 to 10, around there. There'll be some Commonwealth stuff to deal with, but I mean, Daryl's going to obviously go and see Judith. Virgil's going to be there. There's a lot of stuff that's going to come up, and I don't know if it's necessarily going to be Judith who tells Daryl. Like, Daryl might find out regardless of Judith even knowing that. And that's the thing, like, Angela Kang, or not even just her, but all of the writers, they need to address that. Like, as soon as Virgil gets there, like, he's going to bring, like, everyone's going to question, like, what are you doing here? And where's Michonne? You were with Michonne last, right? And then they'll kind of talk about it a bit more, and I think he'll go into detail about what happened and what she found. But if he doesn't do that, it'll be because, I mean, like, what? There's no reason. Obviously, he would have to say it. Like, he has to say it, right? The only thing I can really think of is like maybe Judith like pulls him aside once she sees him and is like, hey, like, don't say anything. I don't want to tell anybody because if I say anything, like, I could see that maybe happening, but that would just be so annoying. And that is also really confirming that there is this storyline where Judith doesn't want to say anything, which is going to make people very annoyed at Judith as well, right? Because like the kids are always annoying on the show. And Judith isn't. Honestly, like Judith to me, she's awesome on the show. She's probably the first kid actor. I guess Henry, like the younger Henry, was also pretty good. But most kid actors on the show are the fans find really annoying. I don't know why. I also defended Carl back in the day, but like looking back, I could see it a little bit more. And I think doing this storyline, I don't even know if people will find Judith annoying with all of this. I think if anything, they're just going to find the writing choice annoying. And like, why can't you just say it? Like, we're in the final season. Give us this moment now. And I think that it should come out much sooner. This way, that's not the reveal. Because if like, to me, if that is the reveal of the final season, like in the final episode or last couple of episodes, Daryl's going to find out that Rick's alive, I would hate that. Depends on what they do, but I would hate that. I want it sooner because I want to live with the character knowing that for a while. And I think that's important to do with the characters. And I just, yeah, I mean, going back to what I was saying before about Judith, like pulling Virgil aside and saying, like, don't say anything. That's also a little weird because, like, then everyone who questions Virgil will be more suspicious because Virgil's just going to say, well, I don't know, she just decided to leave to look for someone. I don't know who it was, right? Like, in that sense, it just, I don't know, I find that really frustrating because it makes no sense for, like, I understand why Judith won't say anything, but this is obviously, clearly just a way and stretching out the storyline because fans are just excited for Daryl to find out this news, right? And that I just find really frustrating right now because, like, we got the bonus episodes like last year, but we haven't really gotten a lot of Walking Dead content in a very long time. I'm kind of sick of waiting for these little moments. I am okay with waiting for a little bit longer, but if the first and second part have aired and we haven't got that moment and it's coming in the third part, that's just, I mean, I don't want to sound entitled or anything like that. I just, you know, from a fan's perspective, I want that moment to happen sooner. I think it would just be cool to happen really at any point now to see Daryl's reaction and then just what he does. I want to get more scenes with Daryl talking with Carol about Rick or Daryl talking with anyone else saying like, I have to go find him or I wonder where he is out there. You know what I mean? Instead of it happening at the very end, and then that's just like basically it. We see him react to it. we see him talk to Carol a little bit, and then the show's over. Like, I don't really, you know what I mean? Anyways, I think that she could be talking about that. At least I'm thinking so, just based off of her comments. Like, it is, if it's not a teaser for that, then it's definitely a teaser for like a big moment happening in the show very soon, at least involving the character. And I could totally see it being the episode 8, I guess, Walker Horde that hits Alexandria. And it's not going to be a big Walker Horde, but it's going to be quite a bit. It's mostly the storm that they're dealing with as well, because they got to defend Alexandria while there's a horde going through. There's a big storm. It's like, you know, I think that could be a lot of fun. Honestly, I think that everyone there, I'm sure they put in a lot of hard work, but I hope that's not what she's referring to here. I hope that the Daryl and Rick reveal happens very soon, because I think if it's, yeah, I mean, I don't want to repeat myself again. But anyways, post your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Make sure to be a subscriber if you want more Walking Dead content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.